I've been in The Dark Angel with Zoe Tay, and I also acted with her and fought with her in the show as well lah.
Oh, so you punched Zoe Tay.
Yes, I hit her head.
Welcome to the One Day at a Time podcast, where we take things one day at a time. Today in the studio, we have Elyn.
Hi everyone, I'm Elyn.
Hey Elyn, can you do a quick short introduction for us?
Okay, so I run a family business for a living, and I'm also a stunt actress in Singapore.
Nice. Okay, so let's chat about your family business. It is a bakery, right?
Yeah, we actually have like 4 outlets across the country. So mainly it is based in Yishun. So we have 2 outlets in Yishun, and then one in a stall in Senoko, and then another one new outlet in Tannery Lane.
Okay, so how did this bakery thing begin in your family?
So it started off in 1986. It's actually by my father. My father started with 2 shareholders. So him and his partners, and then eventually he bought the shares over. So he was like alone doing it with my mom. So from young, we actually literally lived in the bakery. Like we just lived in a shop house above the shop, above the kitchen.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just me and my brother. And my parents were in the bakery a lot lah. So we actually literally just play in the kitchen, in the retail shops. And yeah, it started there for us. And we've been in the bakery for like our whole lives lah.
So did you grow up eating bread?
Actually, I don't eat bread.
Wait. So your family runs a bakery, and you have basically access to free flow bread, but you don't eat bread.
Yes, because from the kitchen, right, we live above the kitchen. So literally it's like butter smell every single day. So
Right.
we really don't eat bread.
So even your parents don't eat bread?
My father loved bread. My father's family loved bread.
That's why he started a bakery lah.
Yeah, so just not the siblings, no, not us. Yeah.
So then what happens if you travel to, like places that all bread one? Like you go to Europe, or like, like more like in the West, most of the food is a lot of bread lah. Then how?
Okay, so now because we are in the business already, ever since my brother took over and then I started assisting him, we have to try lah. So even in Singapore, we'll just try the different breads and literally study how people do things and the taste. Yeah,
market research ah.
Yes, so it's really for market research purposes, not for like personal. Yeah.
I see. So this bakery is one of those traditional bakeries. Like you do, what kind of products do you carry actually?
We can carry those simple breads,
like
and then cakes.
The loaf.
Yeah,
kind.
loaf bread and then cakes. Single buns lah, like hot dog buns, cheese buns. But ever since we took over, we try to do newer stuff like artisanal breads. So it's on our seasonal menus.
Right.
And then we are also venturing into like customization of like cakes and products that people can order through online platforms.
Okay, so you started mostly doing bread stuff lah, like those kind of like toast, loaf type of thing.
Actually, we don't do the loaves ourselves lah. We only do the breads. So literally breads.
What's the difference ah?
In Singapore, right? Actually, there are a few main kitchens that do those kind of like loaf breads, right? If you produce a lot, then it's more economical. But if you produce like a little bit for just a single store or a few stores to sell, right, then it's not very profitable lah. So yeah,
but what's the difference between loaf and bread? Like what's the bread is like a bun type of thing?
The bun type, yeah.
So like the inside got filling.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So as a traditional bakery, that's what I guess you specialize in. Is it or how does it work?
So for me, right, I actually specialize more in cakes lah. My brother is the bread person.
Okay. So you do cakes.
I do cakes mainly.
More traditional cakes?
Simple chocolate cakes, cake decorations. Yeah.
That's why you're moving more into like cake customizations and stuff like that as well?
That's for my end of things, but we are also doing operations lah. So not just really me doing cakes itself only.
How old were you and your brother when you decided to kind of take so-called like be a part of the actual business?
Okay, actually, it wasn't in our life plans at all. So back in 2019, my father actually passed on because of cancer.
Right.
And my brother actually took the first step to take over his legacy lah.
Right.
So it started with 2 outlets. So my brother took over with 2 outlets. And then after that, then I joined him in 2020 and we expanded to 4 till date.
I see. So because generally, okay, I understand now, but before that, right, before your brother took over, were you all ever, around helping with the business when you all were kids, like when you're studying and stuff like that?
Actually, yes, we were. So when we were toddlers, we hang out in the kitchen. So mainly for me, my interest has always been cakes. So I'm with the cake decorator a lot, which is the cake decorator was actually my aunt. So I spent a lot of time inside observing like how she does her cake decorations, right?
Right.
So I sort of got the hang of it.
Right.
And then for my brother, he's mainly playing soccer in the kitchen with the ovens and stuff, right? So he's more into bread lah. So he observed all the operations within the bread side of things lah.
I see. Because one of the I wouldn't say it's a rising problem, but one of the rising situations in Singapore is that there are many people who started like very localized business, like in our parents or our grandparents' generation, like all your char kway teow, bak kut teh, bakery type thing, and a lot of times they are the next generation. They don't want to take over because like you said, we all have our own, I guess, hopes and dreams and like what career we want to get into, and our parents or grandparents' so-called business choice might not always be the choice of ours lah. So is there like a reason why you and your brother would like to carry on your father's legacy of this bakery?
Because we've seen the hard work that was placed into opening his own shop and his outlets, right? My father actually started off with 2 partners, but eventually he had to sell their first house, their BTO house, to buy over the shares in order to have more control of the shop. And then it was a struggle lah. He made very big sacrifices. And when we grew older, then we came to realize like, actually, it's not easy for him. And we really want to carry this on. Yeah. So mainly his sacrifices. Yeah.
I see. So it's not that you have a particular passion for like baking or like making bread. It's really just because you feel and you understand, how difficult it was for your dad, and you just hope that his spirit can live on in the bread lah, basically.
Yep, that's right. But for me, I do have a passion for baking. But taking over the business is not just about baking cakes, So it's really about like the running of the business, dealing with people, dealing with employees, customers, suppliers. It's really not easy lah. Yeah.
Definitely. So in your opinion, after, kind of helping your brother take over the business for a while, what is the most difficult part of running a small business like a bakery?
For me, it has always been dealing with people. So I'm not a people's person. My brother is, and he actually handles people very well. So he deals with like suppliers and customers and like his employees. So for me, it has always been a struggle.
Right. So apart from the actual baking, like making of cakes and stuff like that, right? What other responsibilities do you guys have as so-called second generation business owners, apart from, dealing with suppliers and stuff like that? What are some of the key responsibilities?
Okay, because also for us, right, we are a very small business and manpower is always an issue. So we literally just run operations to doing our accounts, to back end, to production, everything we have to like, pao ka liao, they call it. So yeah, sometimes my daily schedule can be like from 2 a.m. to all the way until like maybe say 3 or 4 p.m. just by running operations.
From 2 a.m.
Yeah.
That means you wake up at... Wait, so you wake up at... Do you not sleep, or do you like wake up at 1 a.m. or something?
I wake up at 1 a.m. Yeah.
What time do you sleep?
So I sleep at around maybe 6 p.m. It's not really enough, but sometimes we don't have a choice because the bakery operates like 24 hours. From nighttime to midnight, there will be production. And then from morning, there will be packaging, then distributing to our outlets, and then to running the retail is really very long hours.
Okay, I never knew that. So the bakery runs 24 hours. That means like every second of our life, there's somebody in the bakery doing something.
Yeah, different responsibilities.
Oh, okay. So and I'm quite curious also. So like apart from the so-called walk-in customers, and do you do supplying as well? Do you supply bread to I don't know, places like restaurants or like a preschool, or do you do like supply stuff or not really?
To preschools, yes, and some regular customers lah, like their regular orders, daily orders, we do distributing as well.
Oh, okay. I was just randomly talking about the preschool. I was never expecting. So okay, how does that work then? How so like I guess that's part of the business lah, like having B2B clients, like supplying to preschools. What are some other organizations or businesses you supply to?
These are the main ones actually.
Okay.
Yeah, the preschools.
Wow. So I really just hit
the jackpot.
The disclaimer. I don't know. I don't know. I really just. Okay, later we go and buy 40. But anyways, okay. So apart from like the business part is, I guess, a part where you are still like picking up lah, and it requires quite a lot of physical commitment as well, right? Because waking up at 1 a.m. is freaking 1 a.m. Most people haven't even slept yet, but you have to wake up at 1 a.m. and do this, and I think it takes quite a lot of physical and emotional like investment into this. And do you feel like this is something that you I guess, okay, apart from wanting to carry on your father's legacy, what do you think keeps you going to really put in so much effort to do this with your brother?
I think it's really family and our dreams to really expand and really do well in this lah. Since we already decided to take over, we do have like expansion plans, and we really want to make this Keng Seng name big enough, and we are really starting small. So while we are still so-called young, right? Let's just chiong. Yeah.
So what are your hopes and dreams for this bakery?
Currently, we have a few brands under this bakery. So it's all different concepts. So we have different plans and different aspirations for this different brands lah. So we have Keng Seng, which is the bakery itself. Right. So definitely more outlets, more retail shops. And then for this other brand called Odaat is more focused on dough fritters, donuts, and customized
dough
donuts
as in like
well.
the youtiao type of thing.
Oh, okay. And we make our own butterflies in our stores as well.
Oh, so this is a shop by itself.
It's a store by itself. Okay. It's a different brand, but it's also considered as one of our outlets lah. Just that under a different branding, different concept.
Okay. And you have a new stall in a coffee shop, right?
Yes. We are actually venturing into drinks as well, into coffee, traditional coffee. Right. So for this new outlet, it's called Keng Seng Bakes and Brew. And we do our own bread, and then also breakfast sets, and then also coffee and tea.
I see. So it's very diverse, because you have like the traditional bread cake type of thing, and then you have your deep fried stuff like donuts and like dough fritters, and then now you have your so-called almost like a cafe type thing, right? Traditional coffee. So like the business can go in many directions. It could become like a bread talk thing, or it could become like a Tiong Bahru bakery type thing, or it could become like a I don't know. Yes. So it's like where do you hope for it to go? I
mean, maybe, of course, people will say like as big as bread talk lah. But then we are we are trying. We are really trying. So that's it's nice. Really a family affair. I don't think one person can actually do all this by themselves, right?
Definitely.
And we are also very thankful for like the help that we get from our family members. Our aunts are still helping out. Right. My mom is also helping out. Yeah, literally family members, my uncles, aunties, everybody. Yeah.
That's nice. I mean, I wonder, because I've spoken to quite a few second generation business owners, and actually one of them, Javier, who runs the coffee shop that your store is in, he was on the podcast as well, and I asked him similar questions of like why he decided to go into a career that is so grueling. It's very, very hard to wake up at like 3-4 a.m. and go and cook big yachting, and it's most people sleep until at least 7, 8 a.m. before you rush to work, right? And he was sharing that it was also because, he watched his father grow up cooking cai fan, and it was very, it was a very tough thing. So he really wanted to kind of embody his father's spirit and go into this as well, So and you were sharing like a similar thing as well, right? So just wonder if most people who end up taking over their family business do it for similar reasons.
Some people actually run from it. From what I know, some people think like, it's too troublesome, too tedious, too 辛苦, so they actually don't want to carry on. So actually, I feel like it's the minority of the people who actually took over, embody this lah.
Yeah, because it's not easy lah. I mean, apart from the if you work very hard for very, very long, maybe you open a lot of outlets and then you do very well financially lah. But in the first don't know how many years, it's just hustling and grinding, and there's no, it's like you cannot really see the light at the end of the tunnel type of thing, and it takes a lot of, it's not just about hustling lah, it takes a lot of everything lah, like the emotional commitment, the physical commitment to be able to pull it off lah, right? Do you feel like this is something that is sustainable for you, that you feel like you will press on and do this for years to come with your brother?
Yes, it's not always like rainbows and sunshine lah. Sometimes we have our rainy days as well. But what really keeps us together is like each other, literally. I'm actually very thankful that we are not alone in this. We have each other. So I think based on that, we'll just try to, achieve our dreams together. Yeah,
that's really nice. So apart from, like you mentioned that you actually quite passionate in like making cakes and stuff, but there are also other things that you're passionate about, right? Because I know that you're also a stunt actress.
Yeah.
I don't know many stunt actresses around, especially in Singapore, where we don't really produce a lot of action-packed content, right? Not really, not as much as other parts of the world. So the question is, how do you get into stunt acting, and what is stunt acting?
Okay, so how I actually got into stunt acting is because actually during 2020, I was actually having a 9 to 5 kind of job. Then I realized 9 to 5, 5 days a week is not the kind of life that I want to live, right? So I left my job and then I took up a diploma in acting. So I wanted to try out acting in the first place. And because one of the module is actually about stunts and choreography, right? And I was scouted by my mentor, Douglas Kong. He was from Hong Kong and he's a veteran stunt actor, and now he's a stunt director lah. So he scouted me to train with him, and I trained with a few of his disciples, and eventually we formed a stunt team called Kongyote Action. And ever since then, I've started doing this. So mainly we do like fighting, like rolling down the stairs, jumping from buildings, like lighting fire, literally everything that you can see in an action movie, right?
Right. Yeah. So dangerous shit, dangerous stuff. So what I guess what training do you have to go through to prepare yourself to, I don't know, like walk through fire and like do dangerous stuff? Like do you have to go through like, I don't know, basic martial arts training, or what training do you have to go through?
We do martial arts training. And we do like we practice how to break falls as well. So not just the fighting. And I think it's also a little bit different from martial arts where you like hit with like your whole force, right? It's also how to carry out the move safely, not hurting like the actor that you're working with as well. So majority of the time you're working with actors, right? So you have to be like very careful. So you need to know how to not hurt someone and use your force rightfully.
Right. So do you before I ask that, you have been doing this stunt acting thing for a couple of years?
2-3 years.
2-3 years. What are some of the productions that you have starred in when it comes to doing stunts and things like that?
Okay, so mainly I'm involved in MediaCorp dramas, usually the 9 p.m. ones. So
9 p.m. Channel 8.
Yeah, 9 p.m.
Chinese drama.
Yes, mainly in the Chinese drama division.
So what are some of these shows that you have appeared in before?
Okay, so I've been in The Dark Angel with Zoe Tay. I was both her stunt double, and I also acted with her and fought with her in the show as well. Yeah.
Oh, so you punched Zoe Tay.
Yes, I hit her head. No lah.
So how did that feel? Like I don't know, because you know, like it's people like Zoe Tay, you know, like from young we see them on TV, and now you're punching her lah. So how does it feel to punch Zoe Tay?
Honestly, I was very stressed. Because I was really very scared of hitting her. Yeah, really very scared. And everybody is like looking at you, you know.
Yeah.
So stressed. But it was very good working with her. She's a very nice person. Yeah.
So do you ever have you ever accidentally hit somebody in a stunt?
In shows wise and actors wise, no. During trainings, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So how about in training or in the actual acting, right? Have you ever like severely injured yourself before?
Actually, no. I'm still quite lucky. Not yet.
Okay. Because I'm sure. I mean, I don't really know, but you know, sometimes I've watched videos of like Jackie Chan explaining, like, because he does stunts himself, and like he was sharing about like how many few thousand injuries he had, break this one, break that one, and I'm sure that comes as a part of a job as a stunt actress, stunt actor, because you will be doing dangerous shit, right? And at some point, you might get hurt lah.
Yep.
So how do you deal with that? Is there like a, you know, yeah?
I think it comes with like a lot of experience. Majority of the time, we actually try to keep it as safe as possible. So we wear paddings when rolling down the stairs and stuff, right? So certain things really come with experience. So for example, like jumping off a 3-story building, right? Usually they will have like boxes and tatami mats, right? So it really depends on how you land. And how you land comes from your own experience and what people and your mentor tells you.
Right.
So previously, I was like, just jump only, right? So, and then just not land on my head or just lay flat and know how to land. But because I'm quite bony, so when I landed during one of the shows, right, my knees actually clapped onto each other from like a 3rd-story building.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So that actually hurt. And I was bruised lah. It's a small injury, but I was bruised. And then from then I realized, okay, there's a safer way to do it. Just don't land with your knees together, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so all this actually really comes from experience.
Right, because I guess there's only so much you can learn in like training lah. You have to kind of pick up all these things while you are actually doing the work, right? Because it's very reflex muscle memory based type thing.
Yeah.
Right. So for you, you sort of got into stunt acting almost by chance lah. You wanted to do acting, then like someone scouted and recruited you, and now this is your thing. How do you feel about that? Will you continue to, have you kind of developed a passion for like stunt acting rather than the traditional form of acting?
For me, it's still no prejudice. I can do acting with stunts and without stunts, but I think in Singapore, right, it would be really cool to be like a female and then to be able to do your own stunts, right, to fight,
right,
and then so I think for me, I would really want to pursue like stunt acting lah, as a stunt actress.
Yeah, because it's quite niche, right? I mean, not that I know a lot of actors, but I think stunt acting is quite niche, especially in our country. I mean, everywhere lah. Stunt acting is pretty niche. Do you know if there are many stunt acting teams in Singapore or?
Yes, there are. So there are quite a few, and then there are also quite a few stunt actresses that I really respect a lot.
Right.
Yeah, in Singapore.
Like how many teams are there in Singapore? Stunt, those that you know at least.
For me, I think I know at least 3.
Okay, so okay, I mean not a lot lah. But it's still, because it's still very niche right? It's still very niche. I mean, there are only that many productions in Singapore, and there are only that many that require like action and stunts, because most productions are quite mild. Right?
Actually, sometimes like even productions where you need to fall off a bike, like just cycling and then you just fall down, right? Sometimes you also require like stunt actors. So actually, this kind of small things, right, requires like us, you know.
I see. Okay, so it's not just like the big action movies or films. It is basically daily occurrence like 3 and 4. Maybe the actor cannot or like the actor too expensive or precious to 3 and 4. Then they will get a body double to come and kind of replace lah. Because if the actor fracture his or her leg, then the whole show cannot go on already. Type of thing, is it? I see. So stunt acting is I mean it's still quite niche, but at least from what I understand from you, it is still quite a very essential role in most productions, even though it might not be an action-based type of film.
Yep, definitely.
Nice. Okay. So moving forward, right, you know, like with your stunt acting and your baking and you know, running a bakery, you kind of mentioned just now that, you know, like even as running a family business, you gotta wake up at like 1-2 a.m. and then now you're doing this stunt acting thing. So how do you manage and juggle these things?
Actually, it's really like a sacrifice of my rest time. So I can like literally work 18 hours a day from like my bakery schedule, then back to back with my filming schedule, and then I rest a few hours, and then it's back to the bakery again.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really about my own time management lah.
But because the baking part requires quite a lot of physical, you know, you physically have to do stuff, and the stunt acting part even more requires like physical. And has there ever been any situations where, you know, you just like over tire yourself and your body just cannot take it?
Currently, still not yet lah. Yeah, I try to plan out my time so that I don't overexert myself, because both of the things that I do, right, requires a lot of focus and energy as well. So I cannot just sacrifice some of my focus, especially during stunts. Accidents do happen. So I try to plan my time as well as possible so that these two doesn't clash. But I'm very thankful that like, because I run my own business, right, with my brother, right, we can always make arrangements.
Right.
And I'm very thankful that like, you know, it's very accommodating. For the bakery side of things, and I can always plan things around.
Right. So it's because you run your own business, and your stunt acting thing is like a freelance thing lah. Like you get paid per project, per hour type of thing. So it's kind of like running two businesses, and you don't have like a full-time job per se lah, right? You don't have a full-time job, but both of it takes up a lot of time, energy, and things like that. I think there are quite a lot of younger Singaporeans or people around the world that are pursuing things like that, you know, doing multiple things, starting their own business, whether it's taking over a family business, starting your own business, doing multiple things. Do you have any tips or opinions, advice to people who might be watching the podcast on, you know, how you feel like you have learned to manage your time and still basically stay alive lah? because it is tough. Like, I mean, even for me as somebody who do multiple things, like I know that sometimes the mind wants to do it, but the body just cannot, you know. So like for you, do you have any I don't know, like what is your mindset, you know, approaching this thing as running two businesses in very, very different industries some more?
For me, right, I live by this motto, like, take a day at a time, right?
Oh shit, yeah. Thank you for the endorsement.
I really take a day at a time. I always tell my partner, I cannot even think of like what's there for the week, the entire month, and what's coming. I just take what's on that day itself. So literally take a day at a time.
Right.
And to manage the stress emotionally as well. And then rest as much as you can. If you are trying to juggle like different things, right? You need to have enough rest.
What do you do to relieve stress? Well, what do you do when you rest?
Sleep.
So you just sleep. There's no casual activity.
I eat a lot.
Okay.
During my leisure time, I really like to eat what I want to eat.
Okay.
And then I try as much as possible to get enough sleep. So I always catch up on sleep. Even though it's not the best tip for people out there, right? To clear off your sleep debt once.
Right.
At one go, right? But it helps for me.
So basically your life consists of work and sleep. How about your I don't know, how about your fiance, your partner? Do you spend time with your your friends? How about friends, family, partner? Where do you find time to kind of I don't know, still keep relationships going and stuff?
I always try and make time for the people who are close to me lah, and I value a lot. So I'll always make time for them, like just to squeeze in like 1-2 hours of like a meal time or just to catch up. Yeah.
So it's not just work and sleep like.
Of course.
So I mean, but majority of your time is spent working and sleeping basically. Would you say that because you spend so much of your life working, that being passionate about what you do, like having a passion or really liking what you do is very, very important for you?
I think it is essential to really like what you do, especially the hours that I've put in a day in all these things that I do, right? Is really, really very important. Last time during 9 to 5, I realized I didn't like what I do. It's just 9 to 5, but I couldn't take it. Then now it's really 7 days a week. I'm working like sometimes more than 12 hours a day, right? But I still think that, yeah, I can do it lah. Just take a day at a time and,
Right, mainly because it's built on things that you enjoy doing lah, like you're passionate about lah.
Yeah.
And if it's something that you are not so passionate about, say, you are kind of forced to take over this bakery and you didn't really have a passion for the cake thing, then it might become a lot tougher, right?
Yes. I think if you're really not passionate about it and you're about to take over a business, you really need to consider, because after all, it's not just about taking over the business and taking the money, right? Sometimes it's about giving out the money. It's about like running the day-to-day. It's not as easy as it seems. Yeah.
Of course, I mean, it's obviously very difficult, and it is quite amazing that you can still do it and that you are somewhat alive. You look very alive for somebody that doesn't really sleep. Yeah, so if there's anybody that's interested to learn more about what you do, maybe try some of your bread and donut and whatever, where can they find you online?
Okay, you can find us on Instagram. We are KengSeng_SG. So Keng Seng _SG. And for my personal stunt acting stuff, you can just hit me up in IG as well. ELYN.LIOW.
Okay, thank you so much for spending your very limited time with me today, Elyn. And I hope you become a very famous stunt actress. Do they exist, famous stunt actresses?
Yes.
I'm sure they do lah.
Michelle Yeoh.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Like represent. She's not from Singapore, but represent. Okay, so I hope your bakery becomes the next Bread Talk and you become a very famous stunt actress.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget us when you become famous. Thank you, Elyn, and we'll see you around lah. See you around, and I will link your stuff in the description so that people can go and try your bread.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on the One Day at a Time podcast. Peace.